Okay guys, fresh pasta. Fresh pasta is super easy to make and it's very, very delicious. If you try fresh pasta versus the store-bought dried pasta, you will seriously notice a difference, and you guys will see that when we eat on block day. So it's just a few simple ingredients. I have some eggs here, salt, olive oil, and flour. And some people use just egg yolks, some people use the entire egg itself. And it just depends on the recipe that you find. Another thing that you'll see is that some people use semolina flour, which is a high gluten flour. Take a second and discuss while I beat these 4 eggs. Why would more gluten in a pasta dough be a good thing? What does gluten do? All right, so now that I've fork whisked my eggs, I am ready to put my dough together for today. So you can do this in a bowl. That's the easier way to do it, or you can do it on the countertop. If you do it on the countertop, make sure you wipe down your surface with some Clorox wipes. So I did that earlier. So if you do it on the countertop, you want to mix in your salt first. Okay. And then we're gonna dump this out onto our counter, okay? Now, the big thing here is not to panic, okay? You're gonna be putting liquid onto a surface without a bowl container, so you just have to be careful, and you just have to watch out for the egg leaking out. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna form a well in the center of the flour, okay? This is where we're gonna start adding that egg mixture in. All right, and I'm gonna also just add a tablespoon or 2 of oil to my eggs because you might need that added moisture. So I'm gonna add that into my eggs, so I'm not trying to incorporate it in separately afterwards. So you can shop for this in a ramekin, and then you can just bring it back to your station and mix it in with those eggs. Kind of whisk that oil in there as well. Now, I'm gonna add all of my 4 eggs to the center of this well. And this is the big thing you don't wanna do, is panic if you get a leak, okay? If the egg starts to leak out, don't worry, okay? See, there, it just did it. Just kind of move it around, okay? And start whisking the eggs into the flour, okay? Now this is messy. This is how your Italian grandmother probably did it, okay? And if you want to use the bowl today, be my guest, you can definitely use the bowl, okay? But we're gonna start to incorporate the flour and dry ingredients into the egg. Now eggs, pasta is very high in eggs. Most pasta doughs are made with eggs. So to find a really good homemade pasta that doesn't use egg yolk or egg is very, very rare. So people with like egg allergies have to watch out for that because most of them have it in there. Okay, so now I've kind of collected all this together, and I'm gonna get to the point where I'm able to knead it, kind of similar to what we did with our yeast doughs, okay? So once I get it to the point where it's at least kind of sticking together, okay, I'm gonna start to fold it on top of itself till it forms more of a dough. Now, pasta dough will be a lot stiffer than your other doughs that you've dealt with in the past. The scone and biscuit dough has that shaggy texture to it, right? But it's still soft. And then yeast bread is really pliable and stretchy, and it's also soft as well. But pasta dough doesn't really take on either of those. It becomes a little bit more stiff, and you have to knead it to get it to that right consistency. So your dough will start off pretty shaggy here, and the goal is to go from a nice shaggy dough here to a very smooth, kind of like firm piece of dough. Now, if it starts to get really sticky, remember there's different stickies. right? There's the type of where, oh gosh, this is sticky and it's clinging to me, or the countertop, or there's the type of sticky where it just feels sticky and it's not completely clinging. So if it's not clinging, then don't add more flour, but don't be afraid to add a little bit of flour to it if you need to, okay? So I'm gonna wash my hands really quick because I got quite a bit of mess on them from getting those eggs mixed in. You guys are gonna need this though until it's nice and smooth, and you're going to do that for about 8 to 10 minutes, okay? And then once it's nice and smooth, then we're going to coat it, okay? You probably measured out your oil in a ramekin. Save that ramekin because you're gonna take that extra oil and you're gonna rub it around so that it's nice and air locked in. And then I'll wrap these for you guys as well. Remember, you can always do that bounce back test, similar to we did with the yeast spreads, to see if it's kneaded up enough or if it needs a little bit more work, okay? And why do we knead? Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna keep kneading this out. You guys will do the same for yours. Ask questions if you have them. Now's a good time.